All right, we're here to talk about week one of the playoffs and a 1 day into week two discussion, maybe. And we have our first discussion on a video. So JW's joined us today. And
Oh,
I think this should be something we do more going forward. We've talked about it a little bit, and it's definitely going to be more fun for me. So anyone that wants to jump on at any point, I'll probably start like maybe putting it out in advance more about when I'm actually going to do a video, and maybe we can do this more often. Unless JW just kills it and it's not a good thing. Hey JW,
what's up, man? How are you?
pretty good. I've been doing better if I was doing better in this matchup with Frank.
Yeah, we'll
But
look at that in a minute.
yeah,
We got more business to talk about,
yes.
and
So I'm thinking we look at two matchups from last week. We know who won at this point. It's Tuesday. Um, but going through real fast and talking through the Cinderella story of Bo. Is it a Cinderella story if it's better than you expect or whatever, but then it was kind of horribly wrong that it went so well?
yeah, it's unfortunate for both, man. Like not getting Otani when he was right there, and I felt like at the trade deadline, Bo was in control of the Otani pick, and honestly, I think the fact that he didn't manage that, he didn't try to manage that enough until it was too late, and I think that killed him. Now, look, the consolation prize is, hey, I made the playoffs. But I'm just going to throw it out there. I still remember sitting there at No Frills telling Bo he needed to go for it and really go for it because I think if Bo had traded me for my talent with what he currently has, Bo's sitting there with you and Nate. Like, zero doubt in my mind. I think Bo could have made a run for this. Instead, he lets Nate come in and scoop it all up.
he lets he lets you trade Nate a massive 5-player deal right at the last second.
Hey, I was trying. You sat there. I was literally sitting right next to him, and I probably went for an hour and a half trying to tell him that
Yeah,
he needed
you
to make
did.
this trade.
You did. And I think I agree that it felt like he was in control. I think maybe it's not something you think about, but tanking, you have to kind of build. If you're a good team and you're trying to tank, you have to kind of build that week over week. You only have 5 transactions to get worse per week, and he has a lot of good keeper options. So I know his bench is pretty deep, and so he may not have felt like he wanted to drop people to kind of like decrease. But man, I will say going into the playoffs, he had played me, I think in week 20, and he basically beat me until he stopped trying at the very last second, trying to realizing like I'm about to miss my
Right.
chance. Finally tried to lose a little bit, but I thought there was a chance he could beat Frank because his team had popped several times over the last month. And so who knows, with an infusion of talent at the deadline, but I don't blame him. And I didn't blame him at the time because Otani is such an alluring thing. He'd already made peace with the fact that this wasn't his year. Next year, you presumably have a weakened Nate, me, Alex, you. I understand the appeal of going for it in a year where several of the people who have contended year in year out are out too. So, but yeah, it things did not work for him this week. So here are the numbers over here. He lost 412. Frank's obviously been a really good team all season, so it's not like it's shocking. But yeah, nothing really popped for Bo. Pitching was not great. Batting was not great. Frank, I don't think had to bring his like total A game to win, but it was still a pretty solid week for Frank. So I mean, no shame in it. But Frank advances again. I didn't prepare any kind of numbers before this, but
Right.
I'm curious how many times Frank's made the semifinals because he's been really successful almost every year. Kind of forgotten about in some way because he hasn't won one, and he's not
Yeah.
going to win one this year either, unfortunately, because he's playing me. But he's had a very
Always a
successful
bridesmaid,
career.
right? Always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Sorry,
Right,
Frank.
right.
Hopefully it's your year, but we'll see. Look, I'll be honest. I'm rooting for him. I'm rooting for him and Alex because, quite frankly, I just don't want you or Nate to win it.
I also am rooting for Frank and Alex first, then me, then Nate. I told Nate that yesterday, and
You
that
know,
is true.
we gotta start getting some new blood in there. And
Even though I've only won once, so I'm not like
yeah, but
part of the Eagle
there's
Empire really, but I do win a lot of
well,
regular
yeah, but
games.
it's with the guys that are always up there, right?
Yeah.
Like I just want some new guys to get infused into the playoffs and look, get that playoff GM experience.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
important.
Frank has plenty of that. He just hasn't won one. I think he's
Yeah,
been
like
to.
I said, always a bridesmaid.
Yeah, he is. He is.
That's what you should do with your Chat GPT is make Frank a bridesmaid. That would
Oh,
be greatness. Um,
that would be
sorry.
pretty good. And that might be a good team name next year, Frank, if you're looking to get away from the hot
Oh
dog
no,
theme.
if he loses, if he makes the final and loses, the last Chat GPT needs to be the winner as the bride,
I
and
like
Frank
that.
is the bridesmaid.
Uh,
That's what we got to do.
I like that. I think I'll follow through on that if he somehow gets lucky and beats me.
So
You were featured in the other matchup. Your run comes to an end after an all-in campaign of sorts until the trade deadline.
yeah,
Uh,
man, it was a weird year for me. Like things didn't go as expected. I had what everybody thought, including myself, a powerful offense coming into the season, and they never could put it together at the same time. And what's crazy is I feel like at most of the season my pitching was my strength, and I didn't keep a single starter. So like I mean I went heavy on the relievers, and I think I proved that can be done. Um, and but
yeah,
the offense, look, the reality is when Jordan gets hurt, I'm in trouble, right? Like I've heard Nate say it a few times. To really win this league, you've got to have somebody that's going to hit 40 to 50 home runs. You got to have that one guy that's going to do it because he's going to put up such good numbers. And I walked into the season thinking Jordan was that guy for me. I
yeah,
got good seasons out of Lindor. I got good seasons out of Yelich. I got good seasons out of those guys. And then at the deadline, I realized I really didn't think I could win it. So I tried to recoup something. And honestly, I was happy with still making the playoffs. Like to sell basically, and
yeah,
still. And actually, my offense went off for a 2-week period.
yeah,
But look, the playoffs came. Yelich got hurt. Stowers got hurt. Like I had some. My big injuries were what killed me offensively, and then pitching just fell apart. Guys
yeah.
that had pitched well, just all of a sudden were throwing up 30 ERAs.
Yeah, I pulled up your picks to see kind of like how well you recouped some assets at the end there. So Cal Stowers being obviously a really, really nice piece with him being he was the headliner of that big 5 guy deal that you sent over to Nate, 425. This was his first year of ownership, so he has 4 years more. He will never be, probably not even be $10 at the end. And he was just, if anyone doesn't know, if you don't know, now you know. 912 OPS for the season tells you pretty much what you need to know. It's
Yeah,
been incredible.
he's
And
just
then
a
you,
stud. And I got O'Hearn back too. O'Hearn in that trade too. So
yeah, he's like $2 or $3 too, and he's had a 300 average this whole season too. Just crushes opposite hand pitching. So you got a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a sixth, and a seventh, and a ninth. And I think maybe you always kept your seventh and ninth, but you were able to recoup some picks. I mean, this is obviously not like premium, but
yeah,
considering you didn't believe, I do the logic, in principle, I agree, getting what you can. This
yeah,
also I thought would be
I had to.
fun to flash up on the screen too. We had 9 responses. This was our preseason poll, right? So the purple meant championship contender. This is what people thought of you preseason. So we only had one person who thought you were any worse than a playoff team based on your keeper group. And this, I think, was after the draft.
Yeah, this was after the draft.
7 of the 9 said, yep, that's a playoff team. And only one said championship contender. However, everyone looked at that team and thought, this is a good team. Clearly. I mean, look, so Nate had 5 votes to be a playoff team and 3 votes to be a contender. That's 8 votes, right? You also had 8 votes above the 4 or 5 level. It's just that people skewed a little more heavily for him to be a contender, but no one else had. I don't think I did either. I had a lot of people thinking I was a contender, but then a lot of people thinking I was on the bubble apparently. So I don't know. But yeah, you and Nate were the two most votes on the 4 and the 5. So your team looked good coming in. Not to rub more salt in the wound, but yeah, I think it was a disappointing season for sure. The offense just didn't seem to click.
Yeah, I think I have a decent keeper group coming through too. So I'll be able to supplement some of that top end talent for next year and see what happens.
We'll see. I mean, next year should be wide open. It remains to be seen, like on what basis can teams who really go for it just rebound immediately and compete next year. Nate did it obviously this year, but not everyone had Nate's treasure trove of assets to be able to flip like that. And even though I personally think it's too easy right now in our league to flip like this,
Yeah.
I wish we could do something to kind of lessen the effectiveness of that. Nate did an exceptional job last year. It's not like anyone can just go in and then all of a sudden flip it and compete right away. It takes a really good targeted approach. So props to him, though I do feel like we probably could lessen the effectiveness of the immediate just resell, but we'll see.
Yeah.
I guess burying the lead here. Good job to Alex, who had a really good week. The ERA was a little bit high, but the offense killed it. Without going into the exact calculations right now, I believe Alex would have easily beaten Nate, would have beaten me, a little closer, but would have beaten me. And I believe he would have beaten Frank also. So Alex came into the semifinals feeling pretty good. And then to touch on the semifinals day one action,
Ooh.
I'm going to start with Nate and Alex, and it would be irresponsible to say that this matchup is over after one day.
Oh, it's not. And look, you can see there's some numbers that are still close. Alex just got off to an awful start.
This is not great. 102 average against a 295. He struck out 32% of the time, and in 12 innings is already up to a 7.5 ERA. That in itself wouldn't be a death sentence, but Nate got 16 innings yesterday of 1.69 ERA with a 13.5 K per nine, basically 0 hits, 2 quality appearances. That is a really, really tough day one to come back from. But obviously today, I guess, it could be flipped and we could be back to even Stevens. But Nate had a hell of a day yesterday. Tyler Glasnow flirting with a no-hitter, and Brian Wu striking everyone out in sight, tying his career high in Ks. I watched most of both of those.
Yeah, timely pitching there for old Nate Dog.
And he has double starts from both of those guys, and they're both in good form.
Yeah.
So I will say, Alex, it's going to take a really nice bounce back, but obviously it's Monday. That was Monday.
Yeah.
And then Frank and I got started. I had 1 hit yesterday out of 27 at bats. So also not the best start. 37 average is not what you're looking for after a day of baseball. With a 74 slugging, that's even more funny. I don't know if I've ever seen a 2 digits slugging. And Frank was fine. Good, even. Couple home runs, couple steals, 7 RBIs, 5 runs, hit good average. So he had a good offensive day. Puts me in a pretty big hole. But then you look up here and it's like 9 hits versus 1 hit. Okay, like that could obviously flip-flop still. I did have Garrett Crochet go 7 innings with 10 strikeouts, no walks, and 3 hits. So that helps.
Yeah, and look, he hasn't had anybody pitch yet, so these numbers are skewed pretty heavily right now too. So, yeah, like I said, one day is one day.
Can't make much of it just yet, but I will say this one. I know Nate's already starting to daydream about: am I going to play Justin, or am I going to play Frank?
I'm sure he is, rightfully so. I mean, Nate seems to always be in the finals in pretty much every fantasy sport.
Unfortunately. He did tell me yesterday, we talked on the phone really quickly. He talked about he does not feel confident that he's going to advance to the finals. He just doesn't know because his team hasn't been performing. And then, of course, he has a really nice opening day.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good day. It's not
just one day.
It's just it makes it look even better because Alex had a really crappy. It's funny to see the difference in at bats for both the teams. Like your matchups were in the 20s and they're in almost pushing 50.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I hadn't considered. I knew mine were low.
Well, he had 33, but
we're close though, and then they're close also. But yeah, It's funny.
Because there's always something to be said about getting as many at bats as possible, right? Because the more chances to get counting numbers.
Absolutely.
I took a couple of years ago. I watched, and I think French had like 70 more at bats than anybody else in the league. And so I looked at that and was like, you know what? No wonder he's got more counting numbers than at that point. And so at that point, I tried to make I started setting alarms for 2:30 and 3:00 in the afternoon to see lineups and who to switch in and out. So
take note, Brad. I doubt you're watching deep into this video, but take note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it also goes back to your bench size too, because certain people this time of year, myself included, I think I dedicate a lot more space to the extra arms, like making sure I have a full bevy of relievers, even a couple extras, because I think chasing holds and saves is so important. And hopefully my starters play most of the time in offense, but it's kind of two schools of thought. Because yeah, if you can add 30, 40 at bats on your opponent, like, yeah, you have an edge.
And look, the reality is we're getting to the point of the season where the roster, the MLB rosters expand, right? So some of these guys are trying to get playing time and give these other guys rest. So honestly, it's this point of the year where some of your starters aren't getting those at bats that they are accustomed to, unless you're really in a playoff hunt.
True, too. I think also like guys like Kyle Tucker, for me, he's a little bit banged up right now. Probably could play. Maybe Kyle Tucker's actually a bad example because I think the Cubs might be on the fringes. But there may be guys who they're going to just go ahead and give them a couple extra days rest if the playoffs are pretty much locked up, or the playoffs are pretty much not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think you may start losing at bats from your regulars, your studs even, if it's like a maintenance for the playoffs thing kind of coming up. So pitching also gets a little dicey. Obviously next week we're talking the second week before the end of the season. There's going to be guys missing starts. I've been nervous that they're going to just shut Skeens down because he's at 173 innings. And they have absolutely nothing to play for, obviously, except maybe a Cy Young. He probably would be pretty pissed if they took him out when he's like right on the cusp of a Cy Young.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope for me, but on that front. But yeah, things get a little dicey the further you go.
If he can pull off a Cy Young, their ability to trade him gets a lot larger too. And let's be real, the Pirates are going to trade Paul Skeens at some point.
Yeah, maybe. So you're saying that once they dupe the league into thinking he's really good because he has a Cy Young, then he'll have trade market?
Well, I think he already has trade market. I don't think they got to dupe the league, but trading a Cy Young winner versus not trading a Cy Young winner, I think it just adds value.
It doesn't hurt. That's true. All right. I got nothing else to say other than my stupid ChatGPT keeps messing up and I can't seem to find a good image for this. So I'll post this video just as soon as ChatGPT gives me something of value that I can use as a thumbnail. And thank you, JW.
I think you should post all of the bloopers as well.
I could start doing that maybe. Just understand my pain. So here.
Oh, I understand it. I've done some things with ChatGPT. Oh, there they are.
So here's the first one that I said, make 4 distinct characters. Greer with the backwards Rangers hat, but they gave him a forward hat too.
Hey, I think he should make that a thing. Like we should make a hat that has bills on both sides. And I mean, look, if people can make those big giant hats popular, the ones I'm talking about, why can't we make a double billed hat popular?
Maybe we could. We'd be the first of we could have a company.
I'm telling you, let's do it.
I said to make EPs with, and again, these are color coded like to the color of your team mostly. Gave him a Rangers hat when I said to give him a Braves hat. Clearly, I said to give myself a backwards red Rangers hat, and I said to create Frank. Frank, I didn't leave you out, but it just straight up didn't put you in here. And I interpreted that as in ChatGPT knows you're going to lose, and so these are the 3 real contenders. But that's just what ChatGPT thinks. I didn't say.
If it had Frank and the hats fixed,
that would be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea. The next one I did, it inserted that stupid hot dog guy that flashes on like half of these that I try. It made Alex darker skin tone, and it did finally give Frank the Yankees hat. I asked for all of us to have a specific team hat backwards. It did the half hat again. It did put Yankees on Frank, but also I just realized back here there's Stump Buster and Ballpark to Banks. back here. Didn't notice those before. And then they tried to give me one just now. Oh no, not that one. I said to fix the skin tone, but then it did double Fs and no backwards. Well, no logos. I don't know. Well, I'll just use this one probably. I should probably start doing that as part of the video because I do get some crazy ones that I don't put on there.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's great for comic relief at the end.
All right.
A reward for those that stick around.
Yeah. Well, thank you, JW, for joining.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it.
First of hopefully many. I like that we just went down a couple different roads that I usually wouldn't have gone down. So that was fun.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, I guess we'll shut it down, and I'll make one more video next week. Probably two more, I guess. One to recap the championship and one to recap the semis. So
let's do it. I'm more than happy to join. See if we get another one or two of us in here.
Cool. All right. I'll let you know.
All right, man.
All right. See ya.